seconds to help this team set up those crazy, awesome cross CC setups.
Unafraid's wearing a Warglaive and Thunder Fury. I hope he doesn't forget to change that. We've seen that mistake committed in the past where someone put Warglaives on for fun and forgot to change them, so I hope Unafraid doesn't forget that. But yeah, I think the Holy Pally God comp is a good decision. Put the Boomkin on the bench, let the big boys come out to play here, and we've seen how quickly rogues get punished by this comp, and I'd imagine that's going to be their strategy.
Yeah, it might be if Unafraid decides to trinket offensively or cloak offensively, he could get caught in a lot of trouble. Even if he doesn't, he could still be in a lot of trouble. We'll see what they do though. Driftking's also a very good target for him. Unafraid's just going to run in at the moment. Mageiden's going to try to knock them out with the Blizzard, but not going to work. Unafraid just kind of sitting back, waiting for them to maybe fall out of combat. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He does get the cheap shot or the kidney shot onto CMG, the deep freeze onto Versace. driftkingz does get stopped on his polymorph though, and because of that, Versace's not going to be caught in any sort of CC at the moment, and he's going to be able to top off CMG. And now, Unafraid caught into the full Hodge. This could be the end for him if they don't use anything. He does have the feint up, the disarm coming out onto him after that, but I think he's going to survive getting chunked down by those ice nevas with no feint up. He decided to use that vanish and escape. Taz now to CC, getting the hots up onto Unafraid, and he didn't have to use his trinket there, which is really good. Neither did Taz. That feint really pulling its weight and keeping him alive.
Yeah, Taz didn't even Iron Bark either, and the Holy Pally God comes on the back foot now. Versace into the deep freeze. Taz as well, drifting, zipping low, 30% HP remaining. They're swapping it to him, changing it up. He's going to have to block at 20%. Taz into the full poly. Hodge is going to be off cooldown. They Hodge up Unafraid. They could swap to him right here. I see a bunch of Ice Lances getting unloaded on him, possibly the Horrify out. They need to make sure they chain it together. He's going for the killing spree onto CMG to avoid getting Horrified, though, and did a bunch of damage to him as Versace was polyed up. He's going to bop CMG, saved by the light proc nonetheless. Drifting, zipping low there, and he's in hypo for a few more seconds. He could go down. Taz gets the NS off just in time out of that clone lockup, but now he's put into the full fear. Drifting's at 50% HP. Mageiden blinking in to get a poly out of the fear. The full poly lands for the hypothermia is going to fade. He can block again. He's still dipping low. He might want to consider it. Taz gets silenced there. He got the Genesis off though before the smoke bomb comes down onto CMG to try and counter pressure him. He's going to trinket it and get out of it with that spectral guise and be just fine.
Yeah, Taz actually ended up using his trinket there, and that whole momentum swings was caused by CMG actually gripping Versace into a Comet Storm, preventing that full polymorph on him, which was really, really well done. Unafraid taking a little bit of damage. He has that feint up, though. He's going to be okay as long as he spam presses that, making sure it doesn't fall off. CMG caught into the full kidney, the clone onto Mageiden right now. Can they get any CC onto Versace? He's just going to bop CMG to try to prevent some of that incoming damage. Tazipu dispelling Unafraid, caught into the full deep freeze now, though. Unafraid caught into the full Hodge as well, but then doesn't look like they're able to get much damage out onto him. He does get caught into that disarm. He's going to trinket that immediately and pop the Cloak of Shadows because his feint did fade and the Ice Novas were coming in. But now they're caught in a position where Taz has no trinket as well as Unafraid. CMG taking a lot of damage. Versace throwing the sack onto him. Does pop that Wings to try to get some heals up, but he's in a deep freeze right now. He does have trinket and bubble available. CMG's just going to use that disperse. A lot of pressure coming out for both teams. Versace actually having to use his bubble as well to break that blind.
Here's the setup on Unafraid. He's got to make sure he chains the Horrify, but he gets polyed. He can't chain the Horrify. Unafraid gets the Vanish off. He's desperately going to be line of sighting here and trying to peel both of these DPS. Versace using a lot of cooldowns there. He still has his trinket left. Unafraid in the Horrify. They're trying to kill him right here, and right now as Taz is silenced up, he's going to Shadow Meld to dodge some CC. He gets the Nature Swiftness off, topping off Unafraid as he's pushing in now. With Hodge on cooldown, they can be very offensive, but it's coming up in 2 seconds. The kidney onto CMG, a poly onto Versace. CMG with no disperse and no trinket. The Comet Storm comes in. He's still taking a bunch of damage here. Unafraid trying to build up for that red buff. Frostjaw now onto Versace. Taz trying to go for a Cyclone here, and he should be able to get it. He's actually canceling as the half poly lands. Now going for the full clone. Again, he gets deeped on it though. Silence on the Driftings. They're swapping it over to him. The Divine Plague thrown out. It's going to dip him to half HP. He has one more block though, and another one coming up soon. The swap's going to be shut down pretty hard unless he just forgets to block. 19%. He blinks into the center of the map. Amplify Magic and Iron Bark, tiding his health bar over for now. Taz with the Heart of the Wild as well, going to be able to pick him up.
And they're actually killing off the water elemental of driftkingz. He's finally able to get out a new one now, but CMG and Mageiden trying to get out damage on that to prevent a little bit of driftkingz damage. Unafraid using that Cloak of Shadows, the killing spree coming out onto CMG right now, but Versace not in any CC. He pops those wings, he's trying to get some big heals out. The fear comes out onto Unafraid as well as driftkingz. Now Taz caught into the deep freeze. They are swapping out onto him, the Hodge coming out. But he does have Barskin available. He's going to decide not to use it. He has the he has the Heart of the Wild up. He gets behind a pillar. He's going to top himself off, and that swap was really ineffective by CMG and Mageiden. Taz didn't really have to use anything there. He does get locked out on that clone though.
Full kidney on the CMG. He might just end up going down. Versace and a poly here, choosing not to trinket into a half poly now at 90%. He's going to trinket that execution sentence, devouring plague thrown up by CMG just to get a little bit of extra healing. They're cutting through it though. Taz trying to get a clone. Frost on Versace. CMG's alone here. He still has the disperse. He's going on to Taz with the silence and the defreeze. Unfortunately, they overlapped and he's still dipping low. Now the full blind. He has no trinket. CMG's going to have to disperse, and Mageiden pressuring Taz quite a bit, but he's going to be able to top himself off. The dispersion fades. Versace comes out of CC. He's trying to play catch up. He's going to Spectral guys. Poly's being spammed out by Mageiden. Versace gets cloned up. DR. Killing Spree comes out onto CMG. But why didn't it do any damage? Where was the buff? He's going to vanish. He garrotes CMG. Still putting out the Eviscerate pressure. Versace into a Poly. Mageiden into a clone. But nice fear out from CMG, peeling both of the DPS. But he gets cloned out. Low HP. Taz desperately trying to change the clone over to Versace, but he just can't yet. Defreeze comes out. Smoke Bomb. Kidney Shot could be the end here for CMG, and it surely will be. He's going to dip down to 2% with a Power Word Shield. 8%. Devouring Plague barely healing him a little bit here at 4%. 2%. The Live Lord? Nope, not the Live Lord. I thought he was the savior for a second, but nope, he's immortal, just like us. No miracles. He's mortal, you mean? He's mortal. I don't know.
All right, there it is. The very first map is going to go to Unafraid is the worst, and this RMD is on a roll tonight. Here we go. So that being said, it is the GodComp's choice to choose their map now. So I'm going to go ahead and ask them what map they want next. Alright, Clutter on top of it, just announcing to me instantaneously, as soon as I get out of that they actually want Ruins of Lordaeron.
Is this a best of 5?
This is a semifinals, it's a best of 5, yeah. Oh, did I say best of 3? Have I been saying best of 3?
I don't know.
I might have. But yeah, this is the semifinals, this is best of 5. This is going to determine which team goes to the finals. And then the other team that is determined that goes to the finals is going to come out of the losers bracket. So
bring out Asbur, man. That's what the Twitch chat wants. Bring out the Boomkin. Seems like they might have been a little bit rusty. They weren't getting those setups as nearly as often as I thought they would be. Especially the first one seemed like it got botched the most. He didn't have to trinket or cloak. Taz didn't Ironbark or trinket. So I think if they can make it a little bit more scary or get the pressure rolling a bit quicker, they can easily pull it off. I think we've all seen it done.
Like you said, when they were swapping over on the Tazipu, they basically botched both their swaps, overlapping their stuns and their disarms and stuff. So I think if they clean that up a little bit, it's going to be way harder for Taz to survive, and he's going to have to use way more to survive. It can be really scary.
Alright, I don't believe that they're bringing out Asbur, but I do know that they chosen Ruins of Lordaeron, so we're going to jump right into the map, guys. I'll see you guys in there in just a hot minute. Here we go, guys. It is Ruins of Lordaeron. We have an RMD versus a Holy Pally God Comp. Now, my money actually was on this Holy Pally God Comp, but now I'm not so sure. Unafraid's team is doing a great job. Unafraid the Worst is currently on a roll here, and they are 1-0 against Supatease's fan club. But this is Ruins of Lordaeron. This is their map choice. A smaller map.
If they were really my fan club, they'd never sub the Boomkin out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe they don't want to see a Boomkin brought to shame.
Aw. Well, Mageiden gets sapped on early here. CMG with the mines here as well. Versace gets deep. Mageiden sapped still. CMG is going to be the opening target, but he trinkets Spectral guys, negating a lot of the opening pressure. He puts the Rogue and Mage into a fear now. The DR Kidney, half poly onto Versace. Unafraid going all in right now. Garrode comes out with the Eviscerate. Big crits. Versace gets the execution sense, but Unafraid doesn't care. They're swapping to Taz, though. At 30% HP, he's got to be careful. Dipping lower and lower. He trinkets the silence into a DR dodge. He got the Nature Swiftness off, but they don't care. They're killing 30 Displacer Beasts back to the tomb, desperately trying to line of sight here at 20% HP. He's still dying. He's going to shatter while he throws the Iron Bark up on himself. He's getting a line of sight. He still has the Heart of the Wild left in his cooldown bank, but that was a very scary opener for Taz.
Yeah, the next full stun on Taz could be a nightmare for him. CMG now in that smoke bomb, getting chunked down. The bop did go out onto him, but it got instantly dispelled by driftkingz. The blind going out under Versace. He does decide to trinket that. He has wings up. He's going to be able to get some big heals off. But here comes the disarm onto Taz. The full Hodge coming out of that. The Comet Storm coming in. If they can get any follow-up, this could be Taz's life. The Frost... the Ice Nova's coming in, pardon me, but he does have that Heart of the Wild. He does get some hots up, and he is in bear form. He might be able to survive that swap, and now he's going to have his NS coming up in 10 seconds as well as his Barkskin, so he's going to be okay for the next swap as 2 is probably.
Yeah, and he's gonna, like you're saying, he's gonna be fine with the Barkskin and the NS out of the CC chain. As long as driftkingz and Unafraid are aware of it, maybe Kidney Shot thrown out or Poly's thrown out, they can peel for it. They're going for it. The Deep Freeze, he did pre-bear from it with full hots, Devouring Plague connecting. He's gonna tank it without Barkskinning, being pretty greedy, but because he did pre-bear from, he's gonna get away with just NSing towards the end of it. Versace leaving the final Poly. Mageiden gets cloned up. He's just gonna block out of it to try and peel for CMG. He's getting chunked right now. It might end up being his Disperse. Poly's on the Mageiden now. Versace trying to cast some heals. He gets full cloned. Surely gonna be the Disperse here. Versace's going to bubble. He's still at 12% HP. He's got to be careful. They're trying to turn around onto Unafraid with the Horrify. Doesn't seem like Versace's going to get a Hodge. There's the Hodge as well. They're trying to finish him off. He's going to trinket to stay aggressive. Taz gets silenced. Unafraid's got to be careful, dipping lower and lower. 19% HP, 17%. Taz into the full fear. Unafraid in panic mode at 7% HP. He could easily go down. Taz trying to heal him up. He goes into the half poly. Ironbark gets thrown out with the Cloak of Shadows. Should buy the time that Taz needs to top him off here.
Yeah, he is going to get topped off because of that. Like you said, another bop coming out from Versace onto CMG. It does get dispelled once again by driftkingz. Now CMG's caught into that full Kidney Shot. He has Disperse available, but Versace has nothing really left. I mean, he has his wings up for a little bit, but he has no trinket for another 20 seconds. Taz getting caught into the full Deep Freeze, though. Unafraid in a lot of trouble at 50%, gets disarmed and Hodge, and Taz decides to trinket and dispel that to keep Unafraid alive. So that is Taz's trinket. But CMG down to 1% HP in the Disperse. He could die through it, actually. But he does catch a heal from Versace. That was an insane swap onto him, and he barely survived. He could have easily died there with that sort of late Disperse. But Unafraid still in a lot of trouble. Taz using that NS, topping him off. The full blind going out onto Versace. Mageiden caught into the full polymorph, and CMG could just die here. He's at 27% HP. The Save by the Light comes out. Versace not in any more CC, but Mageiden can't do anything. He's getting cross-CC'd so well. The polymorph coming out onto Versace. I'm not sure what broke that, but he does get locked out on his heel, and CMG is in a lot of trouble at 16% HP, getting chunked down over and over by Unafraid and driftkingz. Mageiden doing everything he can to try to stop the incoming damage, but Taz is going to use that offensive clone onto CMG if they can get any follow-up onto Versace, maybe a Deep Freeze, maybe a Bash. CMG could be in a lot of trouble. There comes the Frostjaw, and CMG still in so much trouble. The Deep Freeze coming out. If Unafraid is able to reconnect onto him, he's probably going to die. Versace now caught into that full polymorph. He has no trinket available for another minute. CMG, this might just be the game. Somehow, he's still alive. Catches a huge heal from Versace. The smoke bomb coming out. This is the frozen orb of driftkingz, and now CMG is going to still live somehow. He's at 40% HP. Gets an offensive clone by Taz. Versace does have those wings up. If he can throw him a big heal, he might be able to actually survive. He has that trinket up in about... well, CMG's trinket just came up. Versace still not out of CC. CMG down to 12% HP. Somehow, some way, still alive, but they need to turn it around. They're just forced so defensive at the moment. They're not really able to make anything happen. driftkingz getting pressured a little bit. And CMG, the Live Lord, somehow survives for now, but now the full polymorph comes under Versace, and he's going to die probably. Right.
No, that's it. That has to be it. Full clone
he did an excellent job surviving. Excellent job, but that's going to be 2-0 for the RMD. The CMG pulling out all the stops to survive as long as he did.
Yeah, a little bit earlier on in the match, you can actually see this crazy swap. They're going on to Unafraid here, but this is 0-2 in favor of Supatease's fan club. That 1% disperse coming out from CMG. He survived forever, but it just wasn't enough. Now Supatease's fan club is going to have to win 3-0 to be able to advance to the finals. Can they do it? I don't know. This is the semifinal, so it is a best of 5. Whew. That was an intense game, man.
They're just not catching a break. I just don't. I've never seen it go down like this. I know that RMD is challenging for God Comp in general, and usually when you bring a Holy Paladin variant, it's to alleviate the problem, which is normally the rogue shutting down your priest the whole time. And for some reason, they just can't. Like he trinket cloaks, and usually after that, you're supposed to kill him in the next setup. but Unafraid is just, I don't know, Taz and Unafraid not letting him go down. They found the secret somehow to get through it. Hopefully CMG and Rosita can, or it's not, no, it's not Rosita. Am I spacing out? It's CMG and Mageiden can talk it out.
Yeah. Alright guys, the next map chosen by Supatease Fan Club is going to be on Tolvaron Arena. I'll see you guys in there. Oh, I didn't think you could bring Peep into the arena.
Pepe, you mean?
Is that what
Is it Peep or Pepe?
I call it Peep, man.
Is it Peep? I've been calling it Pepe.
I vote
What is
for
it called?
Peep,
I want to
man.
know now.
What do you think,
You're talking
Ben?
about the orange bird on your head, right?
Ben, make the decision. Is it Pepe or is it Peep?
Who are we talking about?
Peep. It's
Look
the
at-
bird on Mageiden's head. If you target Mageiden, look at the bird on his head. Is it Peep or is it Pepe?
Wait, what the? I
There's
don't
a bird
know.
on his
Is it,
head, dude, look.
does it have a name? Am I supposed to be
Yeah,
reading something?
it's a bird that hangs out in your garrison. If you click on it, it goes on your head. And he brought it into
I
the
can't
arena.
I can't target it for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think you
He has
can.
a buff. He has a buff if you turn your UI. It doesn't matter. Either way, Pepe or Peep.
I like Pepe.
Oh, man.
Cute.
All right.
Well, Unafraid
Sounds
snaps Mageiden, opening on to Asbur. They did sub in the Boomkin. We missed it. We were too busy talking about the bird on his head. He's going to Barkskin the opener here and pop the Celestial Alignment. He's going to trick it offensively onto Taz, trying to 100-0 him right here in the opener. He's going to be able to get out of line of sight now, and Asbur on the back foot still at 50%. Versace's playing catch-up with his health bar. Asbur gets locked out on the defensive clone. He's AoE pressure on everyone right now, trying to make Taz feel a little bit uncomfortable as he did Barkskin and Trinket at the same time.
Unafraid caught into that full polymorph at the moment. Mageidin's trying to control the game a little bit. Tazifu getting beamed there. I believe that was on his cast. Driftkingz taking a lot of damage down to around 50% HP. And Taz not really able to get too much hots on him. Finally, the huge NS comes out onto Driftkingz there. Tazifu caught into that full deep freeze. The Ring of Frost coming out, but that is surely not going to land. Unafraid getting crossy seed. And Mageiden and Asper have a lot more crowd control this game. And this RMD is having a hard time really getting anything going. Taz just sitting back at the pillar trying to get out as many hots as possible. Driftkingz caught into another Cyclone. And looks like Unafraid is trying to target down Mageiden and try to stop some CC, building up his red buff as much as possible. But he is going to get bursted down, caught into a full Hodge. The deep freeze coming out onto Taz, and surely they're going to have to use something here. But Unafraid does have that feign up, is able to get that up before the Ice Nova comes in. Does got offensively cloned, and now Asper pushing in. He smells blood in the water, gets the full clone onto Taz. Unafraid in a lot of trouble. I think he has Cloak of Shadows available. He uses that smoke bomb. Maybe he doesn't have his Cloak of Shadows. There's nothing he can do. He could just die. He's at 8% HP. Taz caught into another Cyclone. Finally, the Cloak of Shadows coming out at the last second. Taz still not out of CC though. Bash, Root, Cyclone, getting Fairy Storm, Unafraid vanishing, trying to get away as much as he can. He's going to get topped off.
Unafraid ran away like Forrest Gump did in the movie. Ran so far, and now he's finally coming back. Mageidin's going to get cloned up here. Asper trying to go for a clone. Unfortunately, got locked out by Driftkingz. Taz just rolling the hots out. PvE healing through this damage so far. Versace uses the Avenging Wrath. Wants to keep his team offensive. Unafraid getting cloned up. They need to do something while Unafraid doesn't have Cloak. And it looks like they're going to make the move. Full Hodge. Star Surge crits huge on Unafraid. Denounces are flying in from Versace. 3v1 explodes. Pops like a popsicle in your mouth on a hot summer day.
That was
Asper's
insane.
bringing it back, man.
Freaking insane, man.
Pepe's good luck.
Pepe. Pepe. Holy.
And I don't know if it's Unafraid like being very like I don't know if he just has really well-timed cloaks or they're just coming up or what, but man, they're coming in clutch at the last second to keep him alive.
For real, his cloaks are gnarly. Round to you two. Peter Pan coming in and saying hi to me. Hi, Peter Pan. Pops like a popsicle.
I don't know what that was, dude. Pops like a popsicle in your mouth on a hot summer
what?
day.
Yeah.
That's what I came up with, man. Have you ever
That's
put a
the notes.
popsicle in your mouth? Like, have you ever had those rock pops? You know what I'm talking about?
Super, you're not coming back from this, man.
They go in your mouth and they pop. They're like rock pops. You can get popsicles with those on them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, huh?
Say Pops like a pop rock or something like that. I mean,
Okay, well, you know what?
Pops,
It's hard,
pops.
okay? I don't pre-plan this, though.
Oh,
This is
man.
just pure 100% stupidity
On
is
this-
what I'll call it at this point.
I wonder what map they're going to choose. Unafraid, they have one map to take off of Supatease fan club. If they win just one more time, they go to the finals. And it's their map choice. What are they going to pick? So far, they've done Nagrand, and they've done Tolvaron, and... Wait, what was the... And Ruins. Ruins, Nagrand, and Tolvaron. So they have quite a few choices, but... I don't know. I don't know what map they're going to choose.
Why do we not track Cloak of Shadows on the cooldowns? We actually troubleshooted the cooldown bar a while ago, and we're just waiting for Badrak to get back to give it a little bit cleaner, a little bit less showing cooldowns you really don't need to see, make it a little bit easier to understand. So hopefully when that gets out, we will be able to see Cloak of Shadows, because unfortunately we can't on the current UI.
Yeah, so that's coming in soon. Badrak's working very closely with us. He's a hero of WoW Esports, the hero that we all needed, and he is helping us troubleshoot the interface to make it as easy to read as possible. So all in his free time too. So if you want to know more about the hero that is carrying GCD TV, definitely type !add-on to see more about the author of the interface that we use. What map would you recommend to this RMD?
They can't pick one that's been played, right?
Right.
They don't want Blade's Edge.
yeah, they don't want Blade's Edge.
Probably Tiger's Peak if that hasn't been played.
Those are the only two, right? Those are the only
think
two
so.
options.
I think so, yeah.
No, they haven't played Downer and Sewers yet, I don't think.
Ooh, yeah, as you say that. What the heck? That's the second time that's happened tonight. As soon as you say that, Ben, they whispered back to me, Dalaran Sewers. So, Unafraid
Hello.
the Worst is going to bring it to Dalaran Sewers. I'll see you guys in there in just one hot minute. Alright guys, welcome to Dalaran Sewers. It's Supatease fan club, and they are on the ropes of going down to the lower bracket. Up against Unafraid is the Worst, which is Unafraid, tazzlol, and driftkingz is RMD. Now, if this team wins one more time, they will go to the finals. Here we go. Now in Dalaran Sewers, man,
That last game was actually really one-sided. I thought the RMD really wasn't able to get
That's how I
anything
thought the
going.
God comp would perform.
right,
Yeah.
me too.
That's what I thought they would do, but they don't even need the Horrified. They're just killing Unafraid in Hodge alone. But they're going to start this game off with the mass stealth. Blizzard comes down from Mageiden to try and catch someone, not catching anyone just yet. Driftkingz got to be a little bit careful. They're just waiting to find a target, possibly want to sab Asbur, and they wait as long as they can to try and find an opportunity, but Versace's going to jump right onto Driftkingz and get combat, I believe there. Invis, I guess, triggered right before he got him, so he's not going to get combat as a result. Unafraid repositioning, the Blizzards coming down still from Mageiden. Asbur right on top of Taz, and both teams are treading closely to each other. Sap onto Mageiden. Driftkingz pushing in. Invis is going to be fading here shortly, standing right on top of Asbur. He's going to pull him out of stealth. Mageiden comes out of the sap into a full clone, though. Asbur into a full kidney. 3v1. Mageiden's going to trinket to counterspell there. And the Barstoon is used nonetheless to answer the adrenaline rush. And Taz is getting swapped to, though, by Asbur and Mageiden once again, like last time. But he is going to escape, only having to use his trinket.
Yeah, Versace able to get that sack up before the polymorph hit on him, and because of that, was able to save a lot of cooldowns. He has the wings up, but was able to easily top Asbur. But Unafraid getting chunked down to around 20% HP, getting some heals from Taz, the Ironbark coming out onto him, and that was his Cloak of Shadows as well. Polymorphs being spammed out from Mageiden onto Driftkingz. Versace now into the deep freeze. Driftkingz trying to get out CC on him, gets interrupted on the polymorph. The frost shot comes out from him. He's not going to be able to get that polymorph up, and Unafraid just caught into clones right now. It reconnects onto Asbur finally. Sack comes out onto Asbur, though, from Versace, preventing a little bit of the damage, but Unafraid has to run away. Taz just getting CC'd over and over. The Hodge coming out on Unafraid. It does break. I think he got dispelled out of Taz. Finally got out of CC and was able to dispel him out of that. But One thing to note is Unafraid can't really get effective advantages off unless he gets dispelled because of that Fairy Swarm that's being spammed on him over and over and over. It's hard for him to get a re-stealth, and he's just going to be sitting behind these boxes, and I imagine he's pretty much never going to get a re-stealth. Now Mageiden pushes in, the beam coming out onto Taz. Looks like they are going to open up on him. The deep freeze into Hodge. He does respond with his Barskin, but he could be in a lot of trouble still. Is able to finally get away and hot himself up. Driftkingz getting spam polymorphed. They're swapping over onto Asbur right now, who responds with that Barskin. Now both Druids don't have Barskin.
Yeah, Killing Spree is still available, and Asper's not going to have that Barskin with some effective cross CC on Versace. They could take him down in a smoke bomb. Asper loading up the dots onto everyone right now. Taz just cycloning Mageiden over and over. Versace looks like he's pushing up to maybe Hodge. He's going to Hodge Taz. They're setting up onto again, but Versace gets polyed here. Unafraid's going to cloak offensively onto Asper to put him into the Garrote. Mageiden garroted as well. Taz should survive the swap as a result. The smoke bomb comes out. Shadow Reflection gets popped by Unafraid there, but Versace got into it. He's going to Execution Sense. He only gets cloned, and it's only DR'd. He's going to come out, and Asbur should be all right, as there is one more bop remaining there for Asbur. Taz just spamming Cyclones out onto Mageiden once again. Drifting is going into a Cyclone from Asbur. Both Druids just going crazy with Cyclone at this point. Unafraid stuck in the center of the map with that Fairy Swarm slowing him constantly. Asbur loading the dots up on all the players once again. Taz's mana is slowly draining though, and as long as they can keep the pressure up onto Unafraid, I could see this easily being lost in dampening. Full blind onto Versace. He did sack the blind, so that's going to break unfortunately, and they're setting up onto Unafraid. Taz dispels the Hodge before he goes into the deep. He's going to go in the poly regardless. Kidney onto Asbur. The sack is fading. He got locked on the clone. Adrenaline Rush is popped. He's going to be building for that buff. His Killing Spree should be available by now. Drifting as well. Taz going into stealth to dodge the poly. Casts the clone onto Mageiden. Lands it. Cross CC 3v1 onto Asbur. He could just die through everything. Killing Spree comes out. Barkskin, Nature's Vigil. He's going to displace her beast away and run for his life. Versace leaving CC into another one. Gets garroted. Asbur garroted now as well. Into the full clone. He has his trinket. He's going to trinket that Execution Sense to try and top off Asbur as he goes into the kidney shot.
Yeah, that was Zora Master as well. He's going to be able to get some casts off, and Asper now offensively cloned by Taz, trying to deny any of those incoming heals. Versace caught into the Frost Jaw, but doesn't look like they have any follow-up except the full polymorph, and Asper's still in a lot of trouble. Unafraid able to reconnect onto him. He's just going to be kiting in bear form, trying to tank as much damage as possible. Does displace away, going to get some hots out onto himself. Versace finally out of CC, but now into the deep freeze. He is able to get that freedom onto that to make it a little bit shorter, but he gets cloned out. And now Asper caught into the full kidney, and Versace has to use his bubble. So that is the trinket and the bubble from Versace. The offensive clone once again coming in onto Asper from Taz, denying any of those incoming heals. But finally Versace's able to top him and stabilize him a little bit. But this RMD just has so much pressure. They have a lot of success going on to Asper here. They're just shutting down his offensive capabilities.
Unafraid got dispelled out of that Hodge. Fortunately for him, it might have been the end. He's still dipping low. Taz in the deep freeze. Unafraid trying to put out the pressure here, but Taz goes into the full ring. I don't know if he has Cloak available. He gets put into the half DR'd bash. The Starfire coming out here. It should crit big. He gets gouged towards the end of the cast. Asbur's going to displace her beast away. Unafraid's right on his tail, though. He's going to get rooted down here out of line of Taz. He's trying to get the clone out. He's not able to. He's going to get garroted. He's camping the bear form, trying to buy Versace a little bit time to catch up. He gets full clone now, though. The Barskin's going to fade. The full kidney lands. Fortunately, Unafraid's getting polyed. Now, Mageiden getting polyed. There's triple CC. Asbur is alone right now, just still camping the bear, desperately running around, flailing his arms around. He's trying to go for a clone. He gets locked out by Unafraid. Versace still getting polyed. Mageiden still getting cloned. They rotate the clone over. Deep freeze onto Taz. The Shadow Reflection gets popped with Adrenaline Rush onto Asbur, though. He's trying to go for another clone. He just can't get it out. The Hodge onto Unafraid. Star Surges are coming in. Taz not able to dispel it. Unafraid actually choosing to trinket. A clone now onto Asbur and a poly onto Mageiden. Finally, the CCDRs have run out. Perhaps Asbur and Mage can finally accomplish something. As I say that, goes into the kidney, goes into the smoke bomb. Unafraid setting up to finish him off. Saved by the Light's going to proc. Ice Nova comes in. 10%, 12%. Solar Beam defensively. 2%. Not enough. Going to fall to Unafraid smoke bomb here in game 4? Yeah, but it was 4. So they're going to lead 3-1 and secure their spots in the grand finals.
Just training down Asper just made it a nightmare for them, and I think a big part of their success was that they were on Tolvaron Arena. It's easier for the Boomkin to get away when they target them in the previous game.
Yep, absolutely. There it is. Unafraid the Worst is going to secure their spot in GCD TV's finals. There it is. Peter Pan's coming and saying hi to me. So up next, let's see, who do we have up next? Up next, we have placeholder name, Revo, Black Jeff, and Danny Carey going up against Krill Elite